the Godfather Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather Soul James Brown saying, stay with it and hit it.
Okay, thank you very much.
A miracle has happened. We are here on time. The technical things were...
Inner Vision, taking you to a new level of Christian radio. www.innervisionrecords.org, the official website of Inner Vision.
Send us feedback, requests.
Help spread the word about local musicians. We are Inner FM.
Johnny and Alan are in the house.
How you doing tonight, Johnny?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing fantastic. I mean, the guy says, "Oh, I only have 13 minutes." I said, "It shouldn't take more than 13 minutes." And we went on at 59 after, and wow, it just gets better and better. Oh, and we're getting quite a bit of views on that. The one I did, well, the one we did last night as well. So
hey, all right, that sounds great.
So tonight I figured like I kept thinking about this scripture we have and it's in Second Thessalonians. We've been finding that some of you guys have not been working, and you know you've been idling around, and you've been busybody going around gossiping, and some people will say beta man. So, and he says, hey, if you don't work, you don't eat. And I think we need a little bit more of that kind of supervision in this world, because I mean, for the ones that, okay, you restaurant business, you got to put out over your work and stuff like that. Well, you know, you got to become innovative. You have to say, well, Walmart is hiring. Do you know I saw a sign downtown, Target, $15 an hour. Then I saw this guy standing in the court, healthy-looking black man, saying, "Oh, can I get $1?" I said, my wife stopped me. She pulls me away because I was going to say, "There's $15 right over there." No, she doesn't like me to engage. Oh man, but I can't believe it. I'm looking at all these, you know, and then I heard, like, if you have a vehicle and whatever, along the highway, there's I think there's Walmart. They're hiring for $19 an hour.
Yeah, it's getting up there with regard to deliveries, with regard to stocking, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
they're willing to pay people a lot of money
yeah,
to go ahead and do that.
And I keep on thinking like this chant, "Johnny, will you come out and play?" and like the business, like, "Come on," you say, "Workers, will you come out and work?" You know, right. We're up in the price, and and so we have the second strain of coronavirus right here from a 20-year-old. He's quarantined, and they're showing that, okay, sometimes you could do everything. You can mask up, you can open up all the windows, and somehow you still get it. So for all you spouses up there or mates, and you say, because of you, stop singing that song, because the virus doesn't say, well, you know, I see a door right there. I guess I can't go in unless I knock, or you. It goes around, and it's like just floating around. And I mean, did you ever see that movie? Oh, well, here's this movie. It was in the 60s, and it was a very, well, maybe it was in the 50s, but they showed it in the 60s. It was about this guy who was getting smaller, and then he got to the size of, like, you know, the size of a spider or whatever, and this spider he was fighting for this piece of bread, so he had to kill the spider to get to the bread because the spider was going to jump him, and then
wow.
Then he got so small that it was a speculation of, where do you go? What kind of molecule do you become if you're so tiny a person can't see it? And then the wife came back home, and she thought the cat was licking his tongue. So she thought, the cat had ate her husband, but her husband had really, I think it got knocked out or whatever. So he didn't hear her. And so then they left the house because the guy says, well, this is depressing. You need to get away from this house. And that's when it just got smaller and smaller. And so we wonder, like, the smallest molecules that are floating around all the time, so small that we cannot see them with the normal eye. What living things are living around us, but we cannot see because they're so small?
I was in conversation with a friend of mine who happens to be a plumber. And this was pre-COVID days. This is before the pandemic. And he was talking about how God literally blessed his, he used a certain word that can't be used for the family show, but
Yeah.
literally blessed the mountain of which he worked on, basically, so to speak. And I says, well, how in the world can you, how could you say that God blessed your stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, well, yeah, okay, number one, and he used that word, and he says, now that carries quite a lot of diseases. Now I could be sidelined for a long time. I could be sidelined for a little time. I could have the smallest cut on my hand, and I could be sidelined forever. Except for God, all these things are possible. But with God, he protects me, he keeps me safe, and this kind of thing. And I think that's really where we're going to. We're starting to come from a culture of fear, of let's wear this mask until such time as it's deemed safe for us to take it off and be able to go outside and move around normally. Unfortunately, it does end up bringing two sides to the table. One side that wants to resume their normal lives with their families, their friends, those that they love, and the other side that really would much rather either stay in control or be controlled by those that would like to stay in control. So, unfortunately, this is probably a situation where it's not going to want to go away quickly. Case in point being this second strain that just magically just happens to appear twice as contagious. Not nowhere near as deadly as anything, but definitely twice as contagious. And the mutagenic capabilities of the virus are not even known. And so the idea being that, because we don't know, we have to be afraid still. We have to still lock down. And that brings up a really good point, Johnny, where you were saying, if a person doesn't work, should they eat? Biblically speaking, that scripture dealt with those that were indeed not predisposed to work. They would much rather be layabouts and sluggards, busybodies, gossipers, backbiters. And those individuals find it much more enjoyable to work at that than to work at feeding themselves. At least that's been my experience. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it looks like people throughout history, what has happened in the past will happen again, and you're gonna have certain personalities where even if you have a team of people and each person has their job, and then you have the people that will be slackers and will cause the other people to do their job because that person's not doing their job. There was just, I guess, there will always be that person within the thing that says, well, I'm thinking like a child, almost like my mommy fed me. She loves me so much that she feeds me. So why can't you guys love me like mom and feed me? and just let me live a degenerate lifestyle. So, and like I said, everybody unemployed, the 19 million or 20 million. I'm not saying that's not all people. I mean, there's some that they're legitimately they don't have a clue about how to get like another job, or maybe they're so fearful. I mean, this Polis and Hancock and other mayors and governors have them so fearful, and Fauci, and they're so afraid because not everybody understands that it's only one way out, and that's not by the train. And we're all leaving the same way. And we just have different times when the bus will stop, and we have to get off the bus, and it's only one way out of this body, right? And
yeah, statistics do show that 100% of all living people die.
right. And and I can understand some people haven't looked at that. They avoid that. They don't think about that. And then when it's put in their face, like these Fauci's, and I forgot the name of the female doctor, did, and showing us that saying several million of you are going to die, and then that total diagram was wrong. And then as we learn more about it, we figured out, oh, okay, there's a 99.55% survival rate after you contact this virus, but that's not being promoted. This just cases, and well, it's kind of a what can you say? But okay, people are starting to get the $600, and then if I forget, it's Mitch and Chucky E. Cheese are able to work out something, we'll get like 1,400 on top of that, which I don't know how long that's going to last, but okay, I guess whatever. And I like the way Mitch added on the 230 and the let's just look into, let's get a committee. A committee is not going to is not going to do anything. They got so many committees up there in Washington, and Chuck is afraid of the committee, or he's acting like he's afraid of committees because he knows those committees don't do anything.
Yeah,
So it's like, okay, so I like the little game they're playing. It's kind of interesting to watch it from an outsider, but I say, what does this mean? What does this really mean?
Well, I do know this. If any demographic of society gets some hush money, as it were, here's some money, stay home, shut up. It tends to breed, and it doesn't always happen this way, but it does tend to breed a little bit of let's not work kind of ethic. After all, in the blind community, and I'm probably going to get roasted for this, but in the blind community, it's either 7 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 of us don't work. It's to the point where if one was to Google right now, how many blind people in the United States do not work, or how many blind people in the United States are unemployed, something like this, you're going to get a graph. And it's going to be largely not very understandable at all. And it doesn't tell you a hard figure as to, all right, is it 7, 10? Is it 75%? Is it 90%? But I would postulate that anything over half of the population in the given demographic, if they're unemployed, we've got a problem.
Let me ask my phone. What is the percentage of blind people in the USA? Let's see. Oh, you got. Oh, one moment. What?
I've tried a number of different ways to get an accurate figure, and I don't seem to be able to get an accurate figure. I do know that there are 50 million in the United States that register as elderly, disabled. Among those are the blind community.
Yeah.
And among that demographic, a large percentage do not work.
And my phone, I don't know if I'm speaking another language, but they gave me a percentage breakdown between black and white, ethnic, and I didn't ask that, but it's like,
right, exactly. Exactly. It gives you a roundabout figure that doesn't tally up to what is the actual figure. And that's a point of disinformation that really has the ability to really make people tired.
Yes, oh man. Well, I don't know about this phone. Hey, I'm trying to get to. Okay, we need to thank our sponsors. Okay, oh, this is a different setup I have now. But anyway, okay, let's run through this, and then we'll be right back after our sponsors.
Isn't it fun to sing along to the radio? If you could help someone else have that same experience and take it to the next level, maybe you would consider donating an old car, RV, truck, or boat. You know, for over 15 years, Intervision has been helping the physically challenged and grassroots artists to create their music. Using music to heal the world is Intervision's gift to you, and you can help them to continue by donating your unwanted car, RV, truck, or boat. You'll also receive a tax deduction at the end of the year. Call us 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 1-855-500-7433. That's 1-855-500-7433. Charity ID 4015. Your unwanted car, RV, truck, or boat is tax deductible, and it can make a difference right here in Colorado. The artists at Intervision thank you for your support. Make that call toll-free using Intervision's charity ID 4015. Again, the phone number 1-855-500-7433.
My name is Brother D'Angelo Travis, and you listen to Intervision FM.
Christian Brothers Moving Company takes care of you by taking care of your family's moving needs. Give them a call, 303-526-2630, and tell them that you heard about them on Intervision. Get the best moving experience you've ever had with Christian Brothers Moving Company. 303-526-2630. That's 303-526-2630. Christian Brothers is a proud underwriter of Intervision. Call them now, 303-526-2630.
And right now, Alan, I'm holding up a paperback copy of my book, which I just presented to my wife. And she says, "This looks like a professional book." I said, "I hope so."
That's awesome. For some of you that are just joining us, my buddy Johnny here just wrote a book called 6 Shades of Blindness. It's available on Amazon right now as we speak.
Yeah. And it was 30 years in the making. And we talked yesterday about like 15 years ago. My one of my brothers said, "You can't put that out." I said, "Why can't I?" It's like, who
That's
are
my
you?
life.
Oh man. So enjoy that. And then our radio station is Intervision FM. If you listen to that 24 hours, 7 days a week, make suggestions of like different songs you want to hear on that, and we'll get them on. And then our website, intervisionrecords.org, is our nonprofit website. So go up there. And end of the year donations, whether you see this in January or whenever you see this, we can also use your donations, paypal.me/IntervisionDenver, paypal.me/IntervisionDenver. Tip the host and help us out with paying some of these bills here at Intervision FM. And
none of this would be possible at all without the Lord Jesus Christ, who gives us the strength and gives us the power to be and to move and to walk in his will.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'm also thinking like I was thinking like 2 things I mean, we could all think of like negative things that happened in 2020, but can you think of like 2 or 3 things? And you could subscribe to this, share it, like it, give us some likes, because the other one, because I didn't promote liking it, but this one I am say give us some likes. Tell us what at least 2 things that you had 2 blessings you had this year. Okay, and of course, I could say that I got blessed with the book, finishing that off, and man, that was like yeah, I had covert during the last part of the editing.
That's awesome.
And I was falling asleep on the people that were helping me edit it, and I would wake up and say, "Oh, man, where did he go?"
That's absolutely insane.
Oh man! And so that was an interesting cosmic in the cloud moment, but we got it done. Oh man! So that's one thing, 30 years in the making. Because I started when I was 31, and my concept was I knew so little about my dad, who died at the age of 12, and I'm sure he would say, well, when you get older, we can hang out, we can spend some time. Maybe I won't be working as much, and nobody knew that he was going to die that early in his life. He was only I think he was like 49 years old, and most of his brothers had died either at the age of 50 or before 50. So something was going on there, as far as like longevity. But in my mother's family, they lived to be 110 and 106 years old.
Wow.
So I could flip the coin and say, oh, I'm not sure if I have my mother's genes or a little bit of both, So I said, I always wanted to know about him. So I said, well, I wrote this book, and so if my kids ever want to know, I couldn't put every story in there. I mean, I just put ones that just stuck out in my life, and I thought you could learn something from it, or you can laugh and have a good time,
I'll tell you, you really inspire me to go ahead and tell my story at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but if nothing else, I'll tell you, it's been a rocket ride, I'm sure.
Sometimes we find out stuff about people because women would write their diaries, and then somebody years later would find that diary and collect them and put them into a story, and then we get an idea of what was happening back, 100 years ago or more. And
yeah,
I think that is so cool,
Yeah, women would go ahead and really be the pioneers of historical chronicles, that kind of thing. And guys as well, I mean, shoot, we're just varied and colored tapestry of humanity.
Yeah. And one good thing as well, I had a chance to work like remote from this radio station, and so that was a blessing, because I mean, I guess I could have went out and got some phone jobs or whatever, but it was just nice that I didn't have to transition into another job. They say, okay, we'll keep you, but you can just do what you do there. And so that's 2 blessings. That's what I consider to be like 2 blessings right there. Right.
That's interesting. And 2 blessings for me is cryptocurrency. I'll tell you what, if it hadn't been for some of the gains in cryptocurrency, I'd be flat broke right now. Even as it is, I'm pretty flat broke, but that's okay. And then secondarily, because I am not able to find a job quickly, even in this world of working online, that kind of thing, I'm optimistic. And, so I've got nothing but time to go ahead and devote to a lot of different projects, one being yours, one being with my roommate. She has a YouTube channel called Blind Talk, and I'm featured on a couple of those videos on YouTube. But my main thrust is the restoration of our constitutional republic of the United States of America. I've done everything I've ever wanted to do in my life, and all the rest of it now is just gravy.
Now tell me, you used to live in Loveland. Were you born in Loveland, or was that just?
Oh no, it was just a stopping point, so to speak. I'm a Rolling Stone. Back in the early '80s, I got really interested in mathematics and in law and this kind of thing. I'm about 12 years old about this time, 14, getting ready to go into high school, and I get approached by Mensa, and there's a place for you, Alan. You're one of the gifted individuals. And I said, no, I that's going to change me. I'm not going to be the person that I am. And, I love my friends. I love my family. I love the people that I hang out with, and a bunch of eggheads are just not my people. And, so I chose not to pursue any real academic anything. I started going to high school, and I got involved with the crowd that was the plastic rock star kind, the heavy metal and the lifestyle that went along with it. And so I had choices that I got to make, and I got work along the way, quite a bit of it. And I made lots of money, and I made very little money, and I made no money sometimes, but always work was important.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Speaking of love, because the only reason bringing this up, I have a friend that she was she was making like crazy money when she lived here in Colorado, and she used to she brought in a artist, and it's like $1,000. I think it was at the time it was $1,000 to bring the artist in, but she just had extra money, and she had bought a house. She lived in an apartment down here, and she bought a house, and that was generating income for her. But when she met this guy, and they went to Phoenix, and she said, Johnny, could you help me? My renter has stopped paying rent. And I said, oh, okay, I'll go and see what happened. So I got my friend Gino. We went up there, and this lady was there with her dogs and her, boyfriend, and everybody was, kids and everything. And so I said, hey, you haven't been able to pay the rent yet, but could you, in the next few days, could you pay it? And she said, oh yeah, And so,
Right.
me and my friend, we left, and she continued not to pay rent.
Wow.
So from Phoenix, I mean, she didn't want to come back to Denver and take everything. And I told her, I said, Gene, there's companies that they do this stuff. They do the eviction. They find you people that will pay rent and not play these games. I'm not the person. I'm just this blind guy that I've never owned a place. I've never managed a place. I'm just kind of be a DJ. My friend Gino, he had 5 houses, right? And oh man, he's told me some nightmares about people who don't pay. He's like, oh man, got 5 houses, somebody's not paying. And then you're losing money because you have to pay this mortgage or not mortgage. And so he just told me it was a lot of horror stories. But anyway, it was like, so whenever I think of like you in Loveland, I think of this lady just smiling and said, yes, I'm going to pay the rent. And then she didn't pay the rent.
No, I lived up in Loveland for quite some time. I think that I was called up there to do a little bit of work.
What kind of community is that? What kind of community is it? Like?
Well, it's a kind of small town sort of community. People are real close knit. Some people call it the Bible Belt of Colorado because of the nature of faith that exists in northern Colorado. You have quite a large church community up there, so it was right up my alley.
Hey, we're coming to the end of the show. We want everyone to have a fantastic new year. If things didn't go well this year, it will go good next year. Just think positive. Blessings will come to you. Sometimes you just have to be still and listen to God and listen to that inner voice telling you the directions to go. So,
amen, Johnny.
All right. So for Alan and Johnny, we'll see you next year here on Intervision FM TV.
All right.